Hey, David.
Hey, Tyler, how are you?
I'm good, my friend. Thank you so much for being here.
What's the difference between the accent between someone from Australia and someone from New Zealand?
Oh, that's a good question. I haven't been asked that too many times. Uh, what's the difference? I think we probably talk a little bit faster, so I'm trying to slow down. But yeah, I think we've probably got a little bit more of a yeah. I think probably just the tonality and a little bit faster talking.
Yeah, I'm good with fast though, man. I listen to my audiobooks at 3 times speed, so I got to be
Oh,
careful slowing down my own speech.
awesome. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. But look, I really appreciate you being here.
Absolutely, man. I was excited to come on. What do you got going on today?
What I got going on? Well, we're in the future, and I keep trying to tell people that we're in the future because it's I'm just looking at the time, so it's 9 a.m. Friday morning, and this is the first thing. I've just dropped my kids off to school earlier on, and you
How do
know,
I look? How do I look tomorrow?
how do you look tomorrow? Well, that's it. Oh man, I love it. I love it. So look, I really appreciate you coming on, and I've been following you for a while and connecting with you, and man, you just from the side of the world and be able to follow people like yourself, it's awesome. And it's
Thank you.
that social media just has such a good thing to play in the world these days, and just connects people so much more.
Yeah, as long as we use it appropriately, I always say if we can use it to find the light, the love, and the lessons to unify us, I think it's an extraordinary tool. And as long as we're using it responsibly and to support those types of things, I'm all for it.
Oh yeah, exactly. So how should we get started? Like, I've got a lot of my audience here as well. I'm sure you have as
Yeah.
well. Would you love just to do a brief introduction for yourself, David, just for people who may
Yeah.
not?
So I'm Dave Meltzer, speaker, author, executive coach. I have several different projects. All my projects, from my TV show Elevator Pitch, which you can catch, to my TV show The 2 Minute Drill, to my podcast called The Playbook, the top entrepreneur podcast for entrepreneur as well, and featured on Spotify, to the TV shows, the movies that I produce. And all of them are geared to one thing: empowering others to empower others to be happy. So I'm trying to find 1,000 people like Tyler around the world that can learn 4 pillar values with 5 daily practices in order to effectuate being happy. I believe happiness is the most unbelievable disease. It's spread by witnessing it. It strengthens us emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially. It'll actually strengthen your immune system, so it'll protect you against other viruses. So I think if I can create a collective consciousness of over 1 billion people, 1,000 people times 1,000 people times 1,000 people is over 1 billion people, we can change the entire world to an abundant world where there is more than enough of everything for everyone.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. I love that. And we're obviously at unprecedented times at the moment with COVID around the world and some crazy things like that. What would be kind of your main, and it's probably hard to sum it up, but what would be your main kind of advice or tips for people in this environment at the moment?
Sure. Well, the number one piece of advice is, look at what you do have control of. A lot of people are focusing on what they don't want. They're focusing on what other people want. In accelerated change and exponential growth, everything's expanding. So imagine we're in a pool of water and then everything expands out. It creates a vacuum. So if you start looking at what you don't want or what other people want for you, you're filling your pool with the wrong stuff. Right? So you got to look at what you do have control. Your own mindset. What are you going to vote for what you want? Your own values, personal, experiential, giving and receiving values. Your own heart set. You have control over how you feel. Regardless of what is around you, worry about what surrounds you. And that's your own feelings control that. And then, of course, what you think, say, do, believe, and what you hear. A lot of people today are inundated with negativity, and they don't understand. You don't have to be inundated and surround yourself with negativity. You can seek what you want to seek. You can search for what you want to search for. It's okay to, understand and want stable data, but don't allow it to inundate you and create negative energy, a negative vibe frequency that will just attract or fill that pool with more negativity.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that because I was actually listening to a podcast and from I believe you know very well, Ed Milet, and he had a guest on there, Trevor Mowat. I don't know if you know.
I went to college. Yeah, I went to college with
Oh,
Trevor.
awesome. So I'm just trying to connect the dots of everyone, and he was on the podcast. He talked about the whole mindset and how you even if you mentally think about it, but even if you talk about it in a negative way, that just amplifies things just so much more. Is that what you're kind of talking about as well? How just that it just amplifies so much?
Absolutely, right? So in the more repetitive and consistent you are, the laws of compound interest work for negativity and positivity. It also works for the currency of money, the object of energy that you put into the flow. So compound interest, the acceleration in growth and the incremental growth of things, of how they double very quickly as they build momentum, is an essential part of what we do. But a lot of people don't look onto the negative aspect of, you know, these negative things take an aggregate effect on us. So you can see it as you get older, like me, people that drink a lot, smoke a lot, do drugs a lot, you know, they may be fine, or you're wondering, man, you know, they're invincible through their 20s, 30s, even sometimes their 40s. But by the time the 50s and 60s come, they look like they're 80.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And I want to talk to you about, as like, because obviously social media plays a massive part in people's lives these days, and it's just becoming more and more prominent for entrepreneurs, businesses, people trying to create side hustles. You've probably seen a lot of it. You probably speak about it a lot. One thing that comes up quite a lot is personal branding, and I know you've talked to a few people around the world in regards to your guests, I mean, and you know, some people I've spoken to as well, like Henry Kaminsky, and you know, things like, and he's a good dude. I talked to him a while ago. And what does personal branding mean to you, and how can people identify that for themselves?
Yeah, well, first of all, let me give you a few tips on personal branding. You are not too late. This is still the early stages. So you have a better opportunity than ever to build your own brand. And that's because we have access to 4.4 billion people. And so when you realize that, you don't have to get all 4.4 billion people. You know, there's people who have built a brand, a personal brand, off of opening children's toys, doing their toenails. There's a pimple popper lady with millions of engaged followers as well. So what you really want to focus in on is you. Number one, you got to learn to love you, and two, learn to know you, and three, learn to capture you, modify, amplify, and perpetuate you. Don't try to amplify, modify, and perpetuate someone else or what you think people want to hear. There's enough of you and your frequency out there to attract and build a community better than ever. It's not too late. And if you're not posting to a point where the people who know you and love you are annoyed by you, you're not posting enough. If you're not posting enough for people that don't like you or even hate you, if they're not giving you crap, you're not posting enough. You cannot post enough. You don't understand the possibility, probability, and perspective of how immense the opportunity and community is. And in order to get your frequency out there, you should be posting every day by using what Shakespeare taught us, which is the whole world is a stage. And if the whole world is a stage, then we can come into our closet, do an IG live with our friend Tyler from New Zealand, capture that, modify it a bunch of ways, amplify it, put it up on Reels and TikTok and Instagram and LinkedIn and all the other YouTube, and create and inspire other people through just giving plain advice, because that's what I do. This is my frequency of sharing my knowledge of who I am. And if you don't like it, all the better for me. That just gives me more energy because you're still watching. If you really didn't like it, you turn it off.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Eh? That's it. Because I think people, like, when they create content, David, they get so lost, and they're trying to just make sure every little bit of content they put out is just so favorable. Like, they don't want to have that like, if someone badly comments on it, or they feel as though it's going to impact someone in a negative way, we automatically think that, right? So you just think, how would you have the contrast of posting content that you know that your community or your audience loves or wants, compared to something that you deep down are passionate about, if that makes sense?
I have to tell you, I only post stuff that I'm passionate about, because what I find is I have no idea what people. I just posted a video that my daughter who went to tumbling for the first time in 16 weeks. Right, she's an extraordinary gymnast, cheerleader, etc. And I just thought it was cool, and I never post anything like that. Well, jeez, man, I posted it because one of my most popular videos. Like, I spend hours doing research to figure out intelligent things to say, things that I believe in. But I was passionate. I love, and I wanted to tell. There it is, beautiful video. I never know what people are gonna like. I just stopped caring. I want to post everything that represents me and what I care about: passionate, purposeful, and profitable things to help people, make them happy.
No, I love that. That's the way it should be, right? I mean, we shouldn't have to feel constraint about what we want to put out to make sure that we're kind of just constantly pleasing everyone else, right? Is that the case?
People are going to laugh at you. They're going to scoff at you, make fun of you. I promise you. But eventually, they're going to applaud you. But you have to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential while people laugh at you, scoff at you, and make fun of you. And trust me, I went to the first Super Bowl when I started posting stuff, and some really big executives in the world. I remember walking on Radio Row, where, you know, I built a reputation in a band in a traditional sense from being a leading sports agent in the world and leading business person in the world. And it was tough for me to handle. Hey, where are you speaking? You think you're Tony Robbins? You go to the bathroom to give a speech? Hey, who do you think you are? Gary Vaynerchuk? Hey, who do you know? And then when I came out with the idea to empower over 1 billion people to be happy, I got, what, you think you're Jesus Christ? You're going to save the world, Meltzer? Well, you know what? Here I am. And once again, not only are they applauding, but they're asking for me to interview them and go live with them.
Oh man, that is incredible. I love that, because I mean, I've seen that you've done a lot of interviews, you know, and people that I respect as well, like Ed Milet, Gary V, Brad Lee, all those guys. And what do you think? What do you think, including yourself, obviously, David? What separates you guys to this pillar now that you can impact so many people's lives? Like, what do you think is that standout thing for? I mean, I know you can't answer for all of them, but what do you think that standout thing is that you guys have gone to that place of?
Yeah, I think there's one common denominator, whether it's the online influencers or traditional leaders, athletes, celebrities, entertainers, billionaires, athletes. There's this common denominator, a spirit of excellence that you must be what you can be. So Bradley, Dave Meltzer, Ed Milet, Tom Bilyeu, whoever it is, are the same as LeBron James, Warren Moon, Troy Aikman, whoever your favorite, or, you know, some great, you know, Tom Hanks, some actor that you love, Brad Pitt. We all have the same thing. We wake up every morning with the same percentage of suck in our lives that you have in yours, same exact percentage, and we find the light, the love, the lessons in the suck. We know that pain is an indicator. It's not a stop sign indicating you to stop. Pain's an indicator that is a turn signal telling you to turn directions, change direction into a better situation or make your situation better. We all know that we live here to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of our potential, that we live to our great potential. So in other words, we have a common denominator, a spirit of excellence to be what we must be, regardless of, you know, and I've done it throughout my career. That I've never limited my point of entry. I've always focused on my capabilities, skills, knowledge, desire of what I wanted to be. And that's led me to be the top of the internet, the top of middleware, the top of, you know, first smartphone CEO, to the most notable sports agency world that they made the movie Jerry Maguire about, to the biggest marketing and media, to the best digital content TV shows about entrepreneurs. The Playbook's a top 50 all-time podcast, all because one thing: if I'm going to do it, I am going to not listen to anybody else, vote for what I want, and really, number one, work hard, work smart, and work long until I get there. And number two, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to quit. I may change directions, but I'm not going to quit.
Yeah, amazing. And I mean, it's interesting to hear it from someone like yourself, Dave, because it does kind of line a lot of people that we can just realize that you aren't any different in the way that you mentally, or it's definitely a different mindset, but, you know, you see the same percentage of suck and things like that, but, you know, you put yourself in this percentage, it's that drive, it's that passion, you know, you're going to get in that direction. It might change, but, you know, you've got to do it. It's that you've just got that motivation to do it. Like these.
So I break it down to 4 pillars of values: gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration. And then I break it down to 5 daily activities: taking inventory of your values every day, not being afraid to be a hypocrite, asking for help, and asking how you can be of service or value to others, studying your calendar, paying attention to, giving attention to the coincidences that you want with what you have planned, don't have planned in your sleep, doing things now, because 100% of the things you do now get done. The difference between most successful people and other people is people that get stuff done are successful. People that don't aren't. And then finally, my biggest practice in life is practicing ending fear. 4 things: 1, identifying what fear and secondary fear is; 2, learning to stop when I'm accelerating in the wrong direction in the ego-based consciousness; 3, dropping, like Trevor Moawad, as you heard, right down to a Buddhist state, central, neutral, to breathe and be in the place where you can then roll in the right trajectory, be productive, accessible, and gracious, providing value to as many people as you can, accessible to as many people as you can, accessing as much as you can, and most importantly, gracious, to find the light, the love, and the lessons and all the suck that exists.
Mm. And it's interesting that you brought up value and your own value, right? But David, there's another thing that comes up quite a lot with regards to giving value. Like everyone says, give value, give value, give value. It's like every day you see it. How can someone really give value to the audience or the community? Like I know you've got to understand that, but what does value mean to you, or how can you explain it a bit more for us?
Yeah. So number one, value is a misnomer. Don't give value to get anything. What I say is when you focus in on inventory of your values, receive value. Know what you want. Forget the why. The why will come. You want to help somebody or something, it'll come. What you should 100% focus in on is receiving with the intention to give it away. So for me, I shifted the paradigm of giving to, I used to give to receive, a trade, a negotiation, some sort of quid pro quo. And then once I shifted the paradigm and said, you know what? I'm waking up every morning, taking inventory of my own values, personal, experiential, giving, receiving, to figure out what I want today. And when I figure out what I want today, all I'm going to focus in on is receiving it, because giving it away is easy. Receiving it's hard. Too many people cheat themselves and lie to themselves and, oh, you know, I give to get. Well, you don't got anything to give, mother. Like literally, I'm serious. Like too many people, I'm a giver. I'm a giver. Yeah, of what? Like I'm a receiver. And trust me, because I'm a receiver, you know, Jeff Bezos, who just hit the $200 billion mark, he can be far less of a giver than Dave Meltzer and change the world far easier than Dave Meltzer. If he just gives 1% of what he has and Dave Meltzer gave 100%, he would still have a more impact than me. So let's go out there, everybody, let's receive with the intention to give.
I love that. I love that. It's freaking amazing. Yeah, that's such a. It's good to know that, and the way you've crafted that message, because I think a lot of us like give, and we're like, well, frick, what are we supposed to be given? And
Exactly.
you know, but you know what I mean. So people are so freaking confused about it, because every day it's like you got to give value, you got to give value, but it's like, well, what is
You
it?
know what's even worse? Like I grew up with an extraordinary mother, right? And she gave everything. Give, 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 give. That's where I built this energy of mine and not being worthy of giving everything I have, giving to receive. Well, but in the end, the people that give everything without taking, they end up having to beg, right? They end up having to ask others to give to them. So, and meanwhile, you know, you're asking me for money so you can go buy your grandkids gifts, right? Like, what you could have just received and given everybody everything. You're smart enough, you're hard enough working, you're better than me, right? But once I shifted that paradigm to understand without guilt, without resentment or offense, I'm out there right now. I'm a ferocious Buddha. I'm out there trying to get as much as I can, because I believe that instead of living in the world of not enough, like the givers, where you're a victim and everything's happening to you and you hear, why me, why me? I moved then to the world of just enough, where I was buying stuff I didn't need to impress people I didn't like. But now I live in the world of more than enough, where I receive everything to come through me with appreciation, gratitude, and my value that I give to it, to give it away. Whoa, and I give so much away.
Yeah.
And way more because I receive more. I give my forgiveness, I give my gratitude, I give my money, I give my time, I give my resources, I give my coaching, I give my training every Friday for free for over 20 years, my exercises, my guides, my books. I give them away, but I couldn't give them away if I wasn't receiving first.
I love that. I love that. And everyone listening is probably just taking that in as well. I've got a couple of people here I know really well, like, and they're saying that's just that right mindset to be in. And yeah, you've got to receive too. Otherwise, as you said, if you keep giving, you're going to be begging at the end.
Yeah, and start with forgiveness. You know, I think for me, gratitude and forgiveness are two things that I want to receive and give away. And especially forgiveness. Forgiveness, if you don't forgive yourself, you're going to create so much interference, voids, shortages, and obstacles in your life. Once you start forgiving yourself, loving yourself, learning with yourself, being worthy of yourself, all the other things, it allows you to receive much better. It allows you to be accountable as well.
No, I love that. And I'm just being conscious of time because I know you've got to get off soon. But a couple of other questions I had. Been in sales background myself, I've been doing sales 15 years and trying to come online. And I know you talk about that in your business as well regarding, I watched a video a few weeks ago about you saying, if I pick up the bloody phone regards to a text, that can just impact someone so much more. Like people just got to freaking pick up the phone and communicate. And that's the way I can get a sale done. Can you just elaborate how much of importance it is to have some sales knowledge in your business or for personal, for their growth in business and personal branding?
Yeah, I think two things in business today will separate yourself. People talk about how hyper competitive is. Well, number one, you got to ask, right? In person, on the phone, via email and media, radio, print, TV, and social media. But the thing that's utilized the least is asking on the telephone. And when we ask on the telephone, it carries a frequency or vibration. And the reason people won't ask on a telephone is that we're also losing toughness. People get their feelings hurt too easily. You know, I'm a man who feels as if, you know, I'm 25 no's from everything that I want. So when I get to 5 no's, I'm getting excited. 10 no's, even more excited. 24 no's, I know it's coming soon. So I'm only so no's from getting what I want, and I'm not afraid to pick up the phone today. In fact, I call a lot of people, you know, especially when people have a difficult time or can't understand something, or even a hater once in a while. I'll just say, hey, I appreciate what you have to say. Here's my cell phone. Give me a call. Let's talk. 99% of them are too afraid because they don't understand how to use a telephone and they're not tough. You got to learn toughness in telephone. Also, the best telephone advice I can give, people don't think outside the box. Remember, when you call someone, 80% of the time they don't answer, especially today. So you better get good at figuring out one thing, how to get people to call you back. You're way better off learning how to get people to call you back than even selling. Because just statistically, if I can get 8 extra people out of 10 to talk to me, even if I suck at sales, I'll still beat you when you get 2 people to call you back and I get 8. So what you got to do is remember, I got to practice making sure that I get people to call me back. Don't sell on the phone. Don't tell a story. Don't talk about features and benefits. Nobody buys on an answering machine. Get them to call you back. One purpose of getting and leaving a message, to get someone to call you back, unless it's your mother-in-law, then you get her not to call you back. But beyond that, then you can work to stimulate interest, transition interest, share a vision, manage and develop that vision, and sell through people, not to people. When I'm talking to people, I'm selling through them, empowering them to sell to others for me, exponentially getting acceleration, growth, and a ton of different money. Why? So I can make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun, empower over 1 billion people to be happy.
Oh, amazing. I love that. I love that. That's so awesome. So it's just that shift and actually getting someone to ring you back. So it's, yeah, that's the way. I love that perspective. I've actually probably never thought about it like myself, but I know that so many people through growth, through their brandings, through their businesses, it's something that they lack, I think, is a lot of communication skills. And obviously you're saying how important that is, but how to work that in the right way. And I love that.
Yeah, I think people still worry about what surrounds them. They forget what surrounds them, right? We are surrounded by the light, the love, and the lessons. We're blessed with everything. When you take the right perspective and you think about what you want, it's a possibility. You get inspired, it's a probability. And if you have the right strategy, awareness, and discipline, you can make every probability of your life by getting out of your own way a reality.
Mm-hmm. No, I love that. I love that. Well, look, David, I appreciate your time. It's been awesome because I know you've got a busy man. And look, I just want to firstly say it just showed the genuine, and the person you are and how humble you are to actually jump on from someone around the other side of the world and have this discussion. That is just, it just means a lot. And it just goes to show the person you are.
Well, it means a lot to me because now I know there'll be a tomorrow. And it's so nice to know that. Remember, I do free trainings every Friday. If you can stay up late enough, 11 a.m. Pacific time, every single Friday for over 20 years. We got pitch competition, exercises, guides, books for free. David@dmeltzer.com, @DavidMeltzer. DM me. I'll give you anything, books, exercises, guides for free, training for free, my workshop for free. Just David@dmeltzer.com or dmeltzer, @DavidMeltzer. Thank you for having me on. I look forward to talking to you again, Tyler.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you, David. And thank you, everyone, for joining. Appreciate it.
Have a good tomorrow.
Yeah, you too, mate. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Cheers, David. Bye. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Hope you found that of value. I'm just blown away as well. Awesome stuff. And yeah, David, he's a humble, genuine man. And look, we can connect from all sides of the world with amazing people. So don't forget that. And yeah, mind blown. So look, if you guys found any value of that, send me a DM as well. I know Tali's here, people I know, Nori. Man, how epic was that? Just someone of his persona and where he's at the stage of his life to be able to give back to us and be able to share that value on a live. I mean, amazing. All right, people, thank you very much. I'm off now.